What's happening, audio nerds? Trumpeter Bobby Spellman here to welcome you to another dynamic episode of Trumpet with Bob. These days, as a trumpet player, it's a huge advantage to have a reliable home recording setup. And with the increasing availability of high-quality but affordable microphones and interfaces and microphone preamps, etc., it's a very attainable goal for anybody out there who's interested in trying to pick up their own series of equipment in order to be able to create recordings on their own. It's a big help if you want to collaborate with other musicians or if you'd like to just be able to record yourself quickly and effectively. And I've had a home recording studio set up since about 2006 that I've moved around and changed around as I could acquire some more microphones and things like that. I've gone through a lot of different microphones, and I wanted to talk today about some of my favorite types of microphones when recording trumpet at home. All of these will be fairly reasonably priced microphones. I'm not going to go into any super high-end, vintage, ultra pro studio microphones because probably, like me, you can't afford them. So we're going to stick to the things that really work, sound great, and that you'll be able to pick up at home. None of these will be, I'm not going to do a deep dive into specific brands or types of microphones. I'm going to talk about some of the microphones that I've used over the years that I like a lot. But within the field of, for example, condenser microphones, there's a huge range of possible microphones, from very affordable, even too cheap, to incredibly expensive, kind of thing that you got to sell your car or sell your soul in order to pick up. So we're going to try to, we're not going to get into the nitty-gritty of that, but we're going to talk about sort of the families of microphones and some of the most common microphones that you'll see when you're trying to build your home recording setup. All right, so without further ado, let's jump into some microphones. All right, the first microphone I wanted to talk about today is one of the most famous microphones of all time. This is the Shure SM57. This is a cardioid dynamic microphone. It requires no phantom power. You can plug it right into your interface and it's going to sound great every time. This is still frequently used all the time in recording settings, miking various amplifiers or snare drums, things like that. It's not always the first choice for a recording microphone because it may not have the same, let's say, depth and breadth of colors that you're looking for. You want to keep in mind that each microphone is going to color the trumpet in a slightly different way. However, this is a very affordable microphone, about $99, and every home recording setup should have at least one SM57. Now, if you're wondering what's the difference between an SM57 and this guy over here, the SM58, the iconic SM58, they're virtually the exact same thing. The SM58 has this little sphere over the outside. It's usually used as a vocal mic. This is usually used as an instrumental mic because you don't have the sphere on the outside. Doesn't matter, they both work almost exactly the same way. All right, so we're going to jump right in here. I'm going to play some stuff. I'm going to try to play around the whole range of the instruments so that you can get a feel for what this microphone sounds like. Shure SM57, classic. The SM57 is very dependent on the direction it is facing. It's a very directional kind of mic, so if you're off by a little bit, it's going to change the nature of the sound quite a bit. That can actually be an advantage if you live in a loud apartment and there's a bunch of other stuff going on. This is going to just pick up the sound of the instrument as it is. This is a very useful microphone. It's a great all-around microphone to have on hand. So there it is, the Shure SM57. All right, moving on, we've got the second microphone in the cardioid dynamic microphone family. This is the Electro Voice RE20. These are very often used as broadcast microphones. You might also see them used as bass drum mics. The feature of the RE20 is it picks up a lot more bass sound to get a lot of bass out of it. So I love using these in particular for recording tuba because you can get the nuance and the beautiful sound out of the instrument, but you can also get that low end. You can get that hearty low end out of the tuba. Now, this is not uncommon to be used as a trumpet mic. You can certainly use it, and it's in that sort of dynamic microphone category. This is about 4 times or more as expensive as your Shure SM57. So this is a different tier in terms of the price, but you know, effective as well. It's going to sound like this. So there you have it. You got a particular sound. It's very clear. It's a very clear sounding microphone. You're going to get the sound of the instrument. And it's reliable. Very reliable microphone. The Electro Voice RE20. All right, moving on. We have one of the most common choices in professional trumpet microphone technology, and that is the family of condenser mics. Condenser mics typically use phantom power, so you have to be able to turn on that voltage button, switch, what have you, on your interface. But once you got that, you're good to go. So this here is a Warm Audio WA47 condenser microphone. It's a tube condenser. I like this microphone a lot. This is built in a model of the old Neumann U47s. You might see old photos of jazz musicians playing into U47s. They've used countless times in countless different circumstances. They sound amazing. In particular, I'm pretty sure I've seen photos of Miles Davis playing on those. Miles Davis would have played in a condenser mics on a lot of his albums, Kind of Blue, etc., etc. So that's certainly an option. The value of the condenser mic is you get really a lot of overtones over the whole wide range of the instrument. It's a very clear kind of microphone, and it's going to sound beautiful. Now, the reason I have the Warm Audio WA47 and not a Neumann U47 is that Neumanns would cost me an incredible amount of money, which I do not have. The Warm Audio version is, you know, their recreation of it, but it's an amazing microphone. Sounds amazing. So if you're looking for a totally solid, very professional microphone, it's a condenser microphone, this is a good option, but there's a whole wide range. I'm going to do a little comparison between this and much cheaper AudioTechnica in 1 second, but I'll play this for you so that you can get a sense for what it sounds like. All right, so there you can get a little bit of a sense of the difference between the condenser microphone sound and the sound that you would get out of a dynamic microphone like the Shure SM57 or the Electro Voice RE20. Now, all condenser microphones are not made equal. So here you have an AudioTechnica AT3035. This is a very solid microphone as well, but it has a very different sound than the WA47. It's maybe, I don't know, a 1/10 the cost or a 1/9 the cost, something like that. But you can get an AudioTechnica AT3035 pretty easily, or a comparable thing. I mean, there's such a wide range of possible condenser mics that, you know, unsurprisingly, the more money you spend, the better they're going to sound, generally speaking. But once again, you can really get a solid microphone for well under $1,000, and well under probably $500. All right, so this is I'm just going to do a little comparison here. I'll show you the difference between the AudioTechnica and the Warm Audio 47. So I've always found that the WA47 has a much clearer, nicer, more rounded, beautiful sound than the AudioTechnica. The AudioTechnica, to my ears, tends to have a lot of sort of high-pitched, let's say, it's a little more abrasive in certain registers. But again, you'll want to check these things out for yourself and check them out and listen to what they sound like. But, you know, you could expect that the more you spend, the better microphone you're going to get. But once again, I'll tell you one more thing. I'll tell you one more thing while you're out there, audience. The WA47, they've got another microphone that's similar but much smaller and doesn't have this whole contraption over here required. I think it's called the WA47 Junior, things like that. A lot of these great microphone companies nowadays are coming out with versions of the microphones that are a little bit more affordable for home recording setups, but are really great, amazing microphones that are going to sound amazing. So you can really check out that wide range of condenser mics, but hopefully that gives you a little sense for what you're going to hear when you deal with a condenser mic versus a dynamic mic. You know what? As I'm editing this and listening to this audio and my little battle between the AT3035 and the good old warm audio WA47, I must say the AudioTechnica AT3035 does sound a little closer than I thought. That's not bad. And I also missed the price a little bit. Probably the AudioTechnica is a little closer to like $200 or something like that. I got mine used, so I got a good price on them. But you know, if you can get one of those microphones and it fits your budget, that might be the way to go. They're a little closer than I thought. So there you go. I updated. I might have been a little too hard on the AudioTechnica 3035. So this will update for you, but whatever you want to do, you know, you get a sense for it. All right, there you go. All right, and that brings us to our third and last category of microphones, and this is my favorite category of microphones, the ribbon mic. Now this one is a Royer R101, the most iconic ribbon mic and one that is really a go-to for professional trumpet players is the Royer R121. Now a number of years ago, Royer made a microphone that was based on the 121 but used slightly different parts, and for that reason was more affordable, so I picked one up. They no longer produce the Royer R101, but they do make a Royer R10, which is a very similar kind of situation in that you can get that iconic ribbon Royer sound without having to spend a whole lot of money. Royer 121 usually goes for about $1,200, which is quite expensive, but if you want to splurge and you want to get yourself a really nice trumpet mic, a ribbon mic, I think that would be the way to go. That's a really top-notch professional trumpet mic. That's what you could expect to find in normal studios. Now, people love ribbon mics on trumpets. The reason is because the ribbon mic colors the trumpet in a particular way. It's not as clear a sound as you would get out of the condenser mic. It's not an exact replication of what you'd hear in the room, but it adds a little bit of a darkness to the sound oftentimes. Has a particular character to it that people love on trumpet because it really brings out some of the most, some of the beautiful elements of the sound of the natural sound of the trumpet. All right, so this is one of my favorite microphones. This is the one that I usually go to when I'm doing home recording. This is the Royer R121. Now, a couple things about ribbon mics before I jump in here with this, playing for you. Number one is that ribbon mics tend to, with a couple of exceptions, take sound from all sides. So it helps a lot to have a little sound shield here to prevent any sound from blasting off the walls and causing an echo effect in the microphone. Sometimes you won't get exactly the clearest sound if you've got too much sound coming from, you know, the environment that you're in, if you don't have a controlled enough environment. The other thing about the ribbon mics is they don't take, typically speaking, some of them do, but very rarely, they usually don't use phantom power in the same way that a condenser mic does. And in fact, if you flip the switch and turn the phantom power on a ribbon mic, you could blow it up and ruin your ribbon mic, which would be super, super sad. So don't do that. The problem then is that the other thing is that the ribbon mic tends to have very low gain. So you want to pick up a preamp of some kind in order to be able to boost the signal so that you can actually record with it. If you bought one of these microphones and went straight into a preamp, into an interface with no preamp, you almost wouldn't be able to hear it. It's very quiet. So there's a couple of options for that. You can get a lot of pretty solid, relatively cheap preamps that'll just boost the signal. There's also something called a cloud lifter that the cloud company makes that just gives you an extra 25 decibels. I used that for a long time. There are ways of working around that, but be aware that if you're going to buy a ribbon mic, you will have to deal with an extra piece of equipment to ensure that you get the full volume that you're looking for out of the microphone. All right, so without further ado, here's the sound of the ribbon mic. right, there you go. Once again, that is the Royer 101 ribbon microphone. If you can get your hands on a Royer 121, go for it. But you almost could buy a new trumpet for that. But the Royer R10 and some of the other Royer products, the various ribbon mics are really great, so you can keep an eye out for them as well. All right, the very last microphone in our microphone adventure is another one of my favorite mics of all time. Another in the family of ribbon mics. This is the Cascade Fathead 2. I got this a couple of years ago. I got a pair of them, and I wanted to put them side by side with the Royer, and this microphone sounds amazing. They are a really good price to quality ratio. I'd recommend checking them out for sure, the Cascade Fathead 2. So if you're looking for a ribbon mic, but you're not trying to break the bank, but you want something that actually sounds really amazing, I'll use this almost interchangeably with the Royer, and I think it sounds really good. I like this microphone a lot. So, once again, if you're looking for a professional trumpet ribbon mic, definitely look into the Cascade Fathead 2. This is with the Lundahl transformer, which I think sounds a little bit better than the alternative. That won't mean anything unless you start looking up Cascade microphones. All right, check it out. Here we go. There you have it, gang. A little adventure through a couple of microphones that I've found very useful. On a budget, you can always get by with a Shure SM57. It's going to do the job you need it to do, but it may not have the whole breadth of colors that you're looking for out of a professional trumpet microphone. So you might try out some other things. So you can check out some condenser mics. Sometimes it's just about what you can get your hands on. You can do a lot of research and check out some other people's favorite condenser mics for this. But I've found a lot of luck with the Warm Audio WA47, that's what it is. That's a great mic all around. And then my favorite microphones for recording trumpet are the ribbon mics, largely because I just like the way that they color the sound of my trumpet. I've been able to get a lot of good results from using them. My two favorite microphones in that respect, both fairly affordable in the whole spectrum of microphone prices, are the Royer, was the R101, that's what I got. But they don't make those anymore, so you can check out some of the other Royers, or the Cascade Fathead 2. This is a really amazing microphone, so I definitely recommend it. Be sure to leave any of your favorite microphones and different kinds of microphones that you might use down in the comments for other people who might be checking out microphones, trying to put together their own home studio. And otherwise, I hope that was helpful in just checking out the different colors of microphones. I won't be doing any extra processing to these, so, you know, you'll basically hear exactly what the microphone sounds with the trumpet in it. I'm not going to be playing around too much with any kind of compression, or certainly not reverb or any effects. So you'll be able to hopefully hear a fairly clear representation of what the trumpet sounds like. Obviously, everybody's trumpet sound is a little different. So if you have, if you're really trying to get a very bright, crisp trumpet sound, you may really want to go for the condenser mic sound. If you're trying to get a little bit more of a dark, warm sound, you might want to go with a ribbon mic. If you have a very bright sound but you want to darken it up, there's people have different preferences for microphones, and microphones have different characteristics in the same way that different trumpets have different characteristics. So you can try them out, but hopefully that gives you just a little overview of some of the microphones that you might look for while you're putting together your own home recording setup. Hey, but before we go, I think it might be a good idea to do a quick
back-to-back microphone recap.
Alright gang, thanks for checking out another video. If you like what we're doing here, feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's a big help, but we really appreciate everybody who's been subscribing. And we're going to keep bringing some new trumpet and musical videos to you every week. Alright gang, have a wonderful time practicing, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya!
Trumpet with Bob.
Alright friends, thanks so much for checking out this video. I hope it helps in your pursuit of the majesty of musical self-expression. If you like what we're doing here, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Big thanks to all the new subscribers. We really appreciate your support, and we're going to keep putting out some new videos for you. The Ridgewood School of Music is now accepting new students for lessons online as well as in person in the Brooklyn, Queens, and greater New York City area. You can find us on our website at www.ridgewoodschoolofmusic.com, and you can send us a message, and we would love to help you achieve all of your musical dreams. For some more musical fun, you can also follow me, Bobby Spellman, on Instagram @BobSpellman, or in any of the other social media platforms listed in the description below. Thanks again for checking out this video, happy practicing, and we'll catch you next time.